Hello, hi, everybody. Welcome back, man, to a brand new stream today, baby. As you can tell in the title and the thumbnail, we are going to talk about this gentleman today. He did interview with the PBD podcast. Patrick Bet David and his boys did an interview with this gentleman, and that's how I actually got to know who that guy really is, because I never heard about him. Because once again, I don't really be into politics stuff, but what I realized today is that a lot of people with negative opinions about a specific religion gets lots and lots of views on social media and in the media in general. People who has harsh criticism about one specific religion, they get lots and lots of publicity in the media. That's social media, commercial media, whatever media you could think about. They get a lot of exposure within the media based on their opinions in regards to a specific religion. And we're going to discuss what religion that is, but I want to right out the gate introduce you to this gentleman. This gentleman is highly controversial, and may God rest Mr. Charlie Kirk's soul. But right after Mr. Charlie Kirk had passed away, this gentleman actually, before Charlie Kirk passed away, this gentleman was actually working his way up. He's already in the spotlight. But the unfortunate death of Charlie Kirk actually is really putting that gentleman into the forefront. So that's how actually that's how I actually got to know about this guy today. Literally. Today, somebody sent me an email with the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet David interviewing this guy. And the interview, dude, it's over 1 million plus people already watched the interview with this gentleman and Patrick Bet David, the PBD podcast. You guys could check it out. It's a very interesting interview. This guy is amazing. But yeah, we're gonna check him out, see what he's about. Let's get into it.
Why do you say nigger? It's to show you I'm the real nigga on the show. Dude, these faggots went to the doctor, they jumped up on the thing, and then they rolled up their sleeve and they said, okay, all right. The government's going to rape me, the government's going to eject me, and they did it 3 times. I'm the realest nigga on the internet. Why do you say the N-word? It's to show people I'm real. There's got to be one real nigga. Can the real nigga please stand up? There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country. It is now on site. It is now on site with this Jewish nigga. Attention, everyone, this is a real nigga talking. Attention, Walmart customers, this is a real nigga talking. Attention, Target shoppers, a real nigga is speaking.
Do you want to run that clip?
Candace, get over here. You've been a bad girl. Candace is gonna get spanked. Her husband won't spank her. I gotta be the one to spank her. Her husband is not doing his duty. Now I gotta spank Candace Owens. I gotta do.
I told you, this guy. Listen, if you're looking for some type of insane person, I think this man is he's had to be one of the most controversial person on the internet right now, because his refusal to stop using the N-word. Listen, dude, I'm dark skinned and I don't even use the N-word. This guy is a Caucasian, and he said that his religion is also a Jew. He's a Jew by religion. And he uses the N-word more than a person as such as myself, that I'm a person of color. And he's cool with people like Candace. You know how I feel about Candace. She's a manipulator. But you're seeing her smiling, talking about getting spanked by this guy. She's a married woman, and this guy has no respect. Talking about he's going to spank her because her husband does not do the job. This man is highly disrespectful. But listen, he's entertaining. People are watching this man all around the world. He's very entertaining. He's getting the crowds. He's getting the people to watch what he has to say. And to me, it's outrageous that this man is actually known on the internet for using the N-word countless of times. Countless. Not 1, 2, 3, 10. No, this man uses the N-word very, very frequently. Very, very frequently. I did a little bit of research into this guy, and I'm like, he's very controversial. That's why people is like watching this guy. And I noticed that about social media, the internet, and all of that stuff. More controversial you are, is more people are going to be watching what you have to say next. He's very controversial by using the N-word as a Caucasian guy, as a, like, people don't expect Caucasians to just use the N-word out, blatantly just use the N-word whenever he feels like it. And he don't apologize for it. To him, it's regular. You understand what I'm saying? So he knows how to start controversy. He knows how to build controversy, and he knows how to be a controversial person. And it's working for him. I just hope everything goes good for this gentleman, because the path that he's on, the way he speaks. And another thing about this gentleman, what I realize, he has a lot of harsh things to say about the Jewish state, which is Israel. And supposedly, allegedly, he's also a Jew. But that's something else I also notice as I'm looking into this guy. A lot of people on the internet nowadays, a lot of people in the media feel the need to be disrespectful to Jewish people, to get recognition, to be recognized. I noticed that today while I was looking into this gentleman video and a couple of other things I was looking into, and I realized a lot of people that is talking and saying negative things about Jewish people, the Jewish state in general, which is Israel. For some reason, they're getting a lot of attention on the internet, in the media. So I'm like, everybody who go against the Jews, why all of a sudden so many people are interested to hear what they have to say? I think the Jews are amazing. It's an amazing religion. I don't get into politics. I don't get into religion, but the reason I say the Jews are amazing people, is amazing religion, because the Jews, they own a lot of things in America. I'm talking about real estate, media, and the way they built their wealth. From my perspective, you don't got to take what I'm saying. This is from my perspective, what I'm looking from the outside, looking into the way Jewish people make money and the way they become very successful and very wealthy. To me, Jewish people work together to build empires. Jewish people stick together to build empires. So I don't get what's all the animosity towards Jewish people. I really don't get it. And I'm thinking, like, because of the success that the Jewish people have in America and they have all around the world, is because they work very smart. They work together. They have lawyers in their family. They have doctors in their family, and they all work together. They keep the money together and they invest together. Colored people don't do that. Black and Hispanics is very rare. Black and Hispanics get that idea and they do it. I said that yesterday on my stream because it's I'm talking honest truth. Blacks and Hispanics do not team up to build wealth. For some reason, the black and Hispanic community, everybody want to do it on their own. So I don't know I truly don't understand what's the hate towards the Jewish people that actually work together, very smart, work together to build wealth. It's the best and easiest way to build wealth. You think about it, right? Think about it. And once again, I mentioned this on my stream yesterday in regards to you guys could check it out, Charlie Sheen's situation. But I mentioned that on my stream yesterday. I'm going to mention it again. You think about it. If you have 15 people in your family, right? And those 15 people, you get along with those 15 people really good. Like you and those 15 people, that's your family. You know your blood. You know your aunts, your uncles, your cousin, you know your brothers, your sister, your mother, your father. You have a whole like 15 people in your family that you guys get along every Thanksgiving. You guys, Thanksgiving reunions, and all 15 people decided to be like, you know what? Let's all invest together. And everybody has a job. Everybody's working for a paycheck. So they all decide over Thanksgiving weekend, over Thanksgiving dinner, they all sat at that table and made a decision like, you know what? We're all working for other people to build their dreams. We're all employees for other people to build their dreams and build wealth off of our time. So instead of us continue doing that for the upcoming generations in our families, guess what we could do from today on? Let's start working together. Let's start taking some of our paycheck money every week or every bi-week or whatever way you get paid. And everybody honestly agree to that plan and stick to that plan. Do you know within 2 to 3 years, that family could start building very, very big amount of wealth within 3 years? But the black and Hispanic communities don't do that. They all want to do it independently. They all want to do it on their own. They all want to do it on their own because there is no trust. So if it's one thing I have to say, and I respect every religion, don't ever twist my words. But if one thing I'm very highly respect about Jewish people is that fact that they work together to accomplish a lot of things, especially to accomplish financial success. Jewish people stick together. They work together and they accumulate a lot of wealth. And you can't knock somebody for doing that. You can't knock a religion. You cannot knock a race of people because they decide to stick together to win. They decide to stick together to build wealth, to build generational wealth. You can't knock people for that, bro. Black and Hispanics should just wake up and start looking at the Jews in a way that, listen, they've been doing it for decades. The Jewish people been doing this for decades, bro. Working together to build wealth. The Jewish people, they own a lot of the media companies. So they have say-so in everything that goes on. And what I'm noticing, a lot of people online, it's going against the Jews because they have power. If you and your family, you and your friends all put your money together and build something that became powerful, now you have say-so in what happens on that platform. Good for you. Why would I be mad at you that you and your family and your friends put all your money together and you built something that became successful? Why should I be mad at you? What I want to do, I want to learn from you. I want to learn as much as I can from you so I could build success for me and my family. So I don't see where all the animosity and the anger towards the Jewish state, which is Israel, and people are saying, oh, Israel taking advantage of the United States and this and this and this. Listen, bro, I don't want to touch that part of it, but what I've been noticing, a lot of people that has negative things to say about Israel and the Jews in general, they're getting a lot of, they're getting a lot of people listening. A lot of people want to hear what they have to say, negative or not. A lot of people is very interested in what they have to say. I don't know why. I think something that everybody should take from the Jews as a religion, the fact that they work together to build wealth. So we're going to get back to this gentleman right here. We're going to look at the actual interview that he did with Patrick Bet-David. Before we do that, I'm going to put another clip where he's trying to explain why blacks and Mexicans don't get along. And on my channel, I made a video a couple of weeks ago that I actually had a really good friendship with a Mexican guy for a couple of years. I got a bunch of Mexican friends. You know what I mean? But I had this one Mexican friend that I thought, we was good friends for a couple of years. You know what I mean? And he turned around and he called me the N-word. And I took it personal that day. He always, throughout the time we've been friends, he always had negative things to say. Like, he always had the racist jokes. But everybody knows someone like that. He always had racist, like black racist jokes that I just never took serious. But that day, a couple of weeks ago, I took it very personal because the way he said it. And then at the end of when he said it, he said, "I don't care." So that's why I took that personal. But I'm going to listen. This gentleman right here was explaining blacks and Hispanics. I mean, blacks and Mexicans. Why throughout all the riots that was going down in California, why the blacks could not have went into the Mexican neighborhoods and destroy anything in California. But you have to realize in California, the Mexicans have the power in California. I'm telling you right now, there is no way blacks could overthrow or do anything to hurt the Mexican communities in California, because the Mexican communities are way bigger. Is way more Mexicans in California than blacks. There is black gangs and stuff in California, but the majority of gangs in California is Mexican related. Like, there's a lot of Hispanic gangs, and majority of those gangs have like Mexican roots. So he was trying to explain what's going on between blacks and Mexicans, and I thought it was hilarious. But let's watch this guy, pal.
They know what's up with blacks. A lot of people think, they're all the same. Mexicans and blacks are all the same. They're not. Black people will, kill you for no reason. Mexicans have gang violence, but it's mostly kept within, the family. And the other thing is that Mexicans do not fuck with blacks like that. And during BLM, the safest place to be during BLM? Mexican neighborhoods. Dude, it was like the Reich of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Like Cicero, Little Village, Pilsen, they were establishing security checkpoints that looked like the Third Reich in Mexico. When George Floyd died, they were running that shit. They were on top of it. During the BLM riots, the city was up for grabs. Downtown was getting raided. My white friends in the city, they were hiding in their basement. Mexican neighborhoods were on fucking lock. They were doing checkpoints, pulling people over for being black.
Listen, this guy is out of his mind. He really is out of his mind, bro. But that's his definition of black and Mexicans relationship. I don't think there's any tensions between black and Mexicans, because the Mexican people that I know, I'm a different person, so I can't really talk on racism, because I respect people for who they are. I don't look at people like, oh, they're this from this culture, or no, bro. Everybody that I meet on a daily basis, I treat you the way I want to be treated. That's how I live life. I don't look at people and I don't base my decision that I'm going to make about somebody. I don't base it on their religion. I don't base it on the skin color. My basically my assumption of people when I'm around them, if I will choose to be around them or stay away from them, I have to the things that I think about is what type of conversation they have. What are they about? Are they positive people? That's where I make my decisions. Do I want to be around type of people like that? No. If I do, yes, but that's how I judge the way if me personally want to interact with anybody. I will be around them first. Let me be around them, and then after being around them, seeing how they all, seeing the type of conversation they always try to talk about, seeing how they carry themselves. That to me, that's what matters. That's how I make my judgments about people, if I want to be around them or not. But I never been one to basically make my decisions about people based on the color of the skin or based on the religion they was brought up in. No, dude. Because at the end of the day, all of us as human beings, we all got kids, and the religion stuff, we was all born into a religion. Whatever was our parents' religion, that's where we got baptized. So as a little kid, you don't have control over what religion you grew up in. Yes, you could convert to another religion when you get older, but I think to me that's people who convert into other religions because of marriage or whatever it might be. I don't think that's me, and I don't want people to think it's that's just my opinion. I don't think it's such a good idea. Like if you're a Christian, you're Catholic, and you marry a Muslim, you're going to convert into Muslim. Like, I don't get it. You're going to convert from a Muslim to being a Catholic. No, stick to your religion, pray to Allah. I'm going to pray to my God. At the end of the day, we all have a respectful higher power that we pray to. That's all that matters. So I truly don't believe in the fact of you having to change your religion, a religion that you was brought up into. You was baptized, that person. So I truly don't believe. I think for the remainder of your life, in this life, for the remainder of this life, you should stick to the religion you was baptized into when you was first born. In your next life, if you choose to go to another religion, that's just me. That's my opinion. I think that everybody who was born into religion, when there was a baby that was baptized into religion, that should be the religion for the rest of their life in this body. Until the next life begin, continue your religion that you was baptized in from baby to adult stage and forever. So that's just my opinion, but I don't base my decision, I don't base my judgment on people on the religion or the skin color, man, because I think that's a bunch of rubbish. You don't treat people poorly based on the color of the skin. You don't treat people poorly, but as you can tell, this gentleman, he has he's the views on his videos, bro, it's outrageous. Like, seriously, dude, he gets a lot of attention on his channel. And he's somebody that he's claimed that, a lot of different platforms actually banned him from, like from making money because of the crazy stuff that he actually talks about. But it's not bothering him. He has platform like X. X is basically free speech. So X is a real platform that's free speech. Like, you could say whatever you please on X, and you don't get blocked, you don't get banned, it's basically for whomever want to say whatever video you want to post, you could post it up on X. You don't get taken down. Like, it's a truly uncensored platform. So that gentleman, he has his, I don't know, you could call it a podcast or stream. He has like a stream that he does every single day on X, and every other platform really don't want nothing to do with this guy. based on his wild views and based on the things that comes out his mouth. You know what I mean? Like, he gets a lot of attention, man, but he gets a lot of attention for crazy things that he talks about. You know, like Candace Owens, she gets a lot of attention for the conspiracy theories that she try to project into people. You know, she manipulates people's minds, and she gets a lot of attention for the nonsense. You know, people don't take it into consideration, but I'm starting to realize people like Candace Owens, people like this guy Nick, you know, people like that stir up the pot. You know, stir up the pot to what the media is putting out. They're basically going against the media, going against, you know, like the big companies, and saying, okay, this is what you're saying, I got something else to say. But the thing I don't like about those type of things is that where does the truth comes in? Because you're just starting like conspiracy theories with no facts, and the people that follows you, the people that, you know, like watch your stuff, it's like, okay, I've been watching this person for 5 years, for 6 years, and I actually start trusting these people. But yet I have these people telling me this is what really happened. So where the truth, like at what point we're going to honestly figure out what's the truth? And what I realize, the truth is basically whatever you're going to decide to, whomever you're going to decide to listen to. That's exactly what it boils down to. Because people who is truly believe what Candace Owens has to say out of her manipulative mouth, they're going to believe what she has to say, regardless of whomever is talking. They're going to truly believe what she has to say, because they've been listening to this lady manipulate their minds for years. You know what I mean? For years, she's been manipulating people's minds. So guess what? Who is not going to listen to her? Who's not going to believe her? After 10 years, you're watching this lady, you're going to believe her. You know, so guys like him, same thing. Guys like Andrew Tate, you know, they stir up the pot and they get involved in stuff, and people, you know, like they have this large following, so people watch who they are. You know, they have people that, you know, that's true, like that are true fans, that no matter what they say, they will never be wrong. You know, like I want to come into the space, but I don't want to come in. I don't like stirring up the pot. I don't like controversy. I don't like, you know, going to the left and to the right. No, I just want to unite the world, bro. I just want us to be united. Like, I want to speak the truth. I want, you know, if whatever I say on this live streams, I want it to be the honest to God truth. You know, I want it to be facts. You know, I don't want to take something that I found out from the government and put my own theories, my own conspiracy theories on to what I just found out from the government, and just have people thinking something completely different without me having any type of facts to prove what I'm saying. That's how conspiracy theories work. But Kansas is more than that. She's just a manipulator. This Nick guy, I don't know if he's doing all of this stuff just for clicks and likes. This is definitely going to put money in his pocket. For saying the N-word whenever he please on live stream, you know, having racist jokes, who knows how far that's going to take him. But right now, let's watch the actual podcast that he did with PBD, you know. And once again, I like Patrick Bet-David. I really do. Like, I listen to him a lot, and I think his content is great, you know. And he came from another country to the United States and built his wealth. He's a very successful man, you know. He's in business, he's extremely successful, you know. So we're gonna watch some of Mr. Patrick Bet-David. Okay, let's get to the volume.
I just started to develop an interest in politics. There were a lot of political conversations happening due to the rise of Obama, actually, in 2008, 2012. And I wanted to know basically everything about it. You know, when you turn around that age, you start to ask questions about the world and how we all got here, and about things that happened before. And so the first thing I ever watched actually was Thomas Sowell on Uncommon Knowledge with, I think,
The best, one of the
Peter
best.
Robinson. Yeah, they're both excellent, from the Hoover Institute. And that was actually the first thing I ever watched, and I just devoured it. I devoured everything.
At 12.
Yeah, 12, 13,
Who
14.
introduced you to Thomas Sowell?
I just Googled it. A buddy of mine is,
That's amazing. This guy said from 12 years old, he was interested in politics. And this dude is young. This guy is in like 20-something years old. He's in early 20s or something like that. But he'd been fascinated with politics since he was 12. How is that possible? But let's continue listening to this guy. Let's listen to this guy, dude.
Capitalism, and he was. It's really him and Thomas Sowell. I think he came before Thomas did, right?
he did, yes.
Right.
Yeah, well, he was from the Chicago school. So it was Friedman, Sowell, and all the others. And so I read all that stuff in middle school and high school. And at that time, I was really a libertarian because that's just what was out there at that time. That was during the Ron Paul Revolution.
And the Fed.
Right, and the Fed. And there was so much online digital content, this is early 2010s, that was being put out by young libertarians. So that's just what was out there and what was available. And so I worked through all of it. Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell, and read about all the Chicago school, even then the Austrian school, the really more libertarian economic stuff. And in high school, I was in Model UN, Student Council, speech team. I was very active in high school, and one of those precocious autodidact type.
This guy, believe it or not, we are watching this guy in 2025. This man is going to be in politics for years and years to come. I guarantee you this is the type of people that end up being congressmen, being running for presidents, running for mayors, running for governors. This is the type of people. Like, this man was fascinated with politics at 12 years old. So he lived from 12 to where he's at now in politics. Throughout high school, throughout college, politics. So he's destined to run for some form of office eventually. And that's if God wants that to happen. Because the path that people like him goes down with the controversial things that he talks about and controversial things that he say about people, it's a very slippery slope. It's very slippery slope, man. Got to be extremely careful. That's why hopefully he's making money to have security around him at all times, because when you're going down that path, like to being, to saying things that hurt other people's feelings, to say things that is going to stir up controversy, that is going to stir up the pot, you're going down a slippery slope. Like anything that you're saying in regards to other people that make them feel less about themselves, you have to be careful, especially in 2025 and going forward. So I hope and wish this guy the best, but we'll see.
In his 40s.
And this school, walk me through the demo of the school. Is it a public school? Is it a private school?
It was a pretty affluent public school,
Okay.
Mostly white,
Got it.
outside in the suburbs of Chicago.
Naperville with
It was Lyons Township
Okay.
and Western Springs, the
Okay.
bridge.
So it's not like it's Chicago. It's a good area of Chicago, mostly white. And would you say politically center, left, don't care, Republican? What would you say the demo was?
I would say it's pretty center-left. It's very Catholic. Some Catholic, some Protestant. But what's interesting about it is very liberal, but not leftist, not very progressive. So even though we were in the middle of a very progressive revolution under Obama, these guys were all liberal, but they weren't communists. It wasn't like New York or Portland.
So what year is this? When you were a junior in high school, this would make it what?
2015.
2015. Okay, so this is, has Trump yet announced anything?
So he announced August 2015. So it was actually right around that time.
Got it. Okay, so you're there, you're getting into these debates in junior year, and then Trump announces, and then what do you do?
So after Trump announced, this is right around the time, so actually he announced in June 2015. And so I was very political, obviously super engaged with the election. And at that time, so this was going into my senior year of high school, I had a radio show on the high school radio station and a TV show on the high school TV station. I did both. And one of my first shows I've ever done in my whole life was talking about the election. And that was a very crowded primary. It was like 17 candidates. I don't know if you remember back then. It was Trump and this huge field. Yeah, it was everybody. And so I went through all the candidates, and initially I was very anti-Trump because I was a libertarian. So I was in it for Rand Paul and then Ted Cruz. And it wasn't until April or March 2016, about 7 months in to my senior year, that I really went in hard for Trump. And Trump, I would say, is the one who red-pilled me, quote unquote.
He's the one. These guys. These are the guys we're looking at, right?
Right.
That was a Jeb Bush started with $140 million. He was supposed to win it. Carson had a little bit of momentum. Cruz was one of the guys that people thought could do something.
Right.
Nobody thought Trump up until I think Ann Coulter's like, who do you think today's going to win? And she made the comment that I think is going to be Trump on Bill Maher. Everybody starts laughing.
Right.
Okay, so you're in this moment. Trump red pills you first.
Yes.
That's just incredible. This man's whole life just been involved in politics, man. And he claims the president, Mr. Donald J. Trump, red pilled him, meaning that he hooked him on his way of speaking politics. And that's why I respect Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump was never into politics. For years of his life, he was never into becoming a politician. He was just a businessman. He is just strictly a businessman. And I would like to ask Mr. Trump one day, like, how did you just wake up and just realize, like, you know what? Let me just give this a shot. That's why I say in life, bro, you never give up. You never give up, dude. It doesn't matter. And the reason I say that, because Mr. Trump was never, ever into politics. He was never, let me run for mayor. You know how politics work? A lot of politicians, they run for small offices. And then they work their way up to the big office, to the main office, which is the presidency. Mr. Trump just went straight into the presidency. He just ran straight to become a president. It's incredible. And he won. He ran straight to become a president. And majority of politicians, they start from the bottom. You know, they start from the bottom, literally, dude. And they work all the way, they work all the way up to the presidency. So that's why I have to say, listen, salute to Mr. President Donald Trump, man, because he just figured out, like, you know what, I could do this. So don't never give up in life. Ladies and gentlemen, don't never give up, man. Anything that you dream about, anything that you see, that, give it a chance. Every and all of the ideas that comes into your brain every single day, bro, give it a chance. Just perfect example of Mr. Donald J. Trump. This man was never into politics, and he just all of a sudden decided, you know what, I'm going to run for president. He had money, and he had other friends, wealthy friends, that was willing to support him. So he knew that he had the money that it will take for him to run for office. So it wasn't about the money. It was just about him wanting to check that off his bucket list. It was an expensive thing, but he just wanted to win or lose. Let me just check this off my bucket list. That's what life is about. Me, any and everything that I think about daily, bro, I give it a chance. A lot of people's problems in this world is that they don't give things chances that they think about, because immediately they start thinking about the financial part of it. Oh my God, this is going to cost me $1,000. This is going to cost me $500. I don't even have the money. I'm working paycheck to paycheck. That's where you're going wrong, dude. Mr. Trump did not think about the money. And you probably say, yeah, he has billions of dollars. Bro, it's not about the money. If you have an idea, if you have a dream, go for it. Don't think about the financial part of it. Don't think about what you have to spend. Just go for it, because you never know if you go for it and everything's going to work out. Mr. Trump, I'm pretty sure he didn't have high hopes. You see how many people was running with him in 2016. He was running against a whole bunch of people that been in politics for years. Chris Christie, that was the governor from New Jersey. This man been in politics for years. Everybody that was running against Mr. President Trump, they was in politics for years. And he just came out of nowhere and won the presidential election. take a chance on your life, dude. Take a chance. Don't never just be like, I don't have the financial needs. I'm not gonna risk $1,000, bro. It could be that $1,000 you risk could turn out to make you $1 million. Take the risk, bro. Life is about risk. You want to live simple, you're gonna die poor, you're gonna die broke, you're gonna die complaining, dude. Take the risk, bro.
I said, even though they're liberal, they're not even really progressive. It's untouched by the progressive politics, by a lot of the diversity, even the crime. It's safe, white picket fences. Take a trip down to Western Springs, Illinois. I mean, you'll see what I mean. It's like the land that time forgot. I go to college in Boston, totally different story. Boston's obviously super diverse. That's a lot of young people because it's all schools, it's all universities. They're all from Asia, all foreign students, and they're all Chinese, they're all from these Asian countries. And there's also, it's a little dangerous, there's a little criminal element, and everyone on the campuses, they're militant left wing. And that was kind of a culture shock. And I kind of realized in that.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks for joining the live, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
That moment, most of the country looks like this now, actually. New York, LA, Miami, the big cities, and most people live in the cities, they all look like this because of immigration, because of left-wing progressive politics. And I kind of said, in that moment, my slice of America that I grew up with is a dying breed. It's literally going extinct. And I like my upbringing. I love my upbringing. I want to, if I have a family, I want to raise my kids in a place like that. But in 50 years, will there be places like that? The country's going to become majority minority in the 2030s. So when I'm old and gray and I have grandkids, what is the country they're going to look like?
And you're questioning this. You're questioning, you're having this dialogue, you're asking yourself, I'm concerned that I'm going to lose the identity of what it means to be an American.
Everything is going good, Patrick. Hello, Wendy. That's the thing about this gentleman, Nick, that stirs up controversy because his views on how America should be. I watched this whole interview and I'm like, the views that he has, but listen, once again, that's his views. His views about America is that the integration with different cultures and different races in America, it's not going to be the typical America that he wants. You know, so I'm pretty sure this guy is going to run for office some way. He's going to run for office based on this idea. And remember, I said that right now. The words that he's speaking, he said the way America is right now, within 20 years, he said 2030. So that's in 5 years. He's thinking that America is going to be so diverse. It's not going to be for him. He's not going to really want to raise a family in the United States because his whole idea of a family is for white to be with white, Spanish to be with Spanish, black with black, Asian with Asian. And that's not, and once again, that's, to me, that's rubbish because you're based in life on the color of people's skin. Life should not be based upon the color of people's skin. Dude, we are all God kids. No matter what corner of the planet we came from. It doesn't matter. None of this stuff should really matter in life. You know, we are in the United States. You choose who you want to be a partner with. But you going out and saying that by 2030, United States is going to be too diverse. I don't think that's something anybody should be thinking because we are trying to stop we're trying to stop the racist talk in the United States. We are trying to stop racism. We are trying to unite as a country. But if you have people like that gentleman saying those type of things, and he has influence, you know, he has influence on college kids. He has influence on the younger generation that's coming up right now. So if he's going out saying that in public, that I want to be with a white woman, I want to have white kids, you know, I want to live in a community just basically straight white people. That's taking us back. That's taking the United States back to an era that the United States really don't want to be a part of. You know what I mean? Like, thinking and talking about stuff like that is going to take us back. We need to integrate more. We need to become one. You know, whomever you choose to be with in your life, that's your choice. Regardless, you want to be with a white woman and have white kids, that's your choice. Go for it. But I think when you have that much influence in the world, especially in the country, in the United States, saying stuff like that could continue the division amongst us as human beings. When you're going out and you know that you have power, people are listening to you, people are watching what you're saying, people are watching what you're doing, and you're clearly saying that you rather live in a community where it's white, you want to marry a white woman, you want to have white kids, and you think everybody should be with their own race. I don't think that's a world that we should not. I don't think nobody should want to live in that type of world, because we're all God kids. If you're basing your relationships on the color of people's skin, if you're basing your relationship on someone's religion, that you don't want to be around them because of their religion, that you don't want to be around them because of the color of the skin, you don't want to, all of that interracial dating, that stuff is all nonsense. The color of her skin doesn't matter. That whole interracial dating, or you're black and he's white, or that's all rubbish, bro. We cannot go back as a society, as a world. We cannot continue going back towards stuff like that. You know, we have to work together to solve our problems in the United States, and we have big problems. So with a guy like him saying those things, this guy has a lot of influence on young people's minds. He has a lot of influence. A lot of young people watches this guy and listen to the words that he's saying. So by him talking this type of talk, he's just going to separate us more and more and more, dude. And it just makes it worse for the United States going forward. Because eventually this guy's going to run for office. I'm telling you, this guy is a true politician. He's a true politician, dude.
We're now talking about the politics of identity, which is concrete, which is particular. Not general, not abstract, but concrete and particular. You have white people and black people. They come from specific places, and they bring with them their genetics. They bring with them their culture, their way of doing things. And we're saying we less believe in conservatism than we believe in America specifically. And that was kind of...
What are you talking about? Who was the first religion of the first people in the United States? Like, I don't get, that's what I don't get when people talk like that. Black and white people he said black and white people came from different parts of the world. Are you crazy? From the beginning, there was blacks in Europe. From the beginning of time, there was blacks in Europe. Black people didn't just come from one part of the country, which everybody think black people was only in Africa. Are you kidding me? There is black people came from all around the world, just like white people. There is white Africans. So the whole fact of the color of your skin, this is the type of conversation this gentleman have. That I think that, you know, me truly, I think this is going to bring us back in times in the worst way possible. Talking like that about black and white people being from separate part of the world, and he doesn't think that black and white people should integrate. And bro, that's the type of things that take us back hundreds of years, and is going to continue to create problems within the United States.
Yeah, we were just friends, and I started to notice something was up, because Trump's doctrine was America first, and that was so attractive to me. He said, we will no longer be misled by the siren song of globalism. It's going to be Americanism, not globalism. And that really sunk into me. And I'll never forget, this was in December 2016. This is what did it for me. And I wrote an article about it on my blog. I had a blog at that time. And I noticed that Obama, who was still the president during the lame duck period, he told our ambassador to the United Nations not to veto a resolution condemning the West Bank settlements. So there's a resolution saying Israel's settlements in the West Bank are illegal. Normally, the United States vetoes that on behalf of Israel to protect them. But Obama instructed our ambassador to abstain. And so the resolution went through. And everybody on the right wing said Obama's an anti-Semite. He hates Jews because he did that. And I said, wait a second. I went through and I did the research, and I said ever since 1967, during the Six-Day War, when Israel occupied the West Bank and Gaza Strip, it has been the official U.S. policy that we do not support the civilian settlements. That's technically illegal under international law. I said, so all Obama did was really uphold the same policy that every president did, Republican and Democrat, yet they're calling him a Jew hater. I said, I don't think Obama hates Jews. Obama's supported by the Jewish left. People like Saul Alinsky mentored him or influenced him. So I don't think he hates Jews. I think that he's just carrying out our policy. And so I said, how is that any different than when, let's say, a conservative critiques BLM? They get called the racist. You critique feminism, you could call the sexist.
Where were you working at that time? Were you working anywhere? You were independent?
I was independent.
Okay, so you're not with anybody while you're writing this.
Right.
So you're free to write and say whatever you want. Okay,
Right.
Continue.
Yeah, so I was just on my own blog, and so I wrote that out. I said, this is hypocritical. I said, and this is something that crops up over and over, is this double standard when it comes to anti-Semitism, when it comes to Israel, and I called this out. And Cassie Dillon, who was my friend, I would raise this issue with her. And I would criticize Ben Shapiro very harshly. He was very anti-Trump at that time. And I said, I think Ben Shapiro is Israel first. And I think that when Trump says in his inaugural, it's America first, why is it that Israel gets all this foreign aid? They're the #1 recipient for 50 years. You're not a poor country. Why is it that much largesse? And so I would press her on this and other related questions. And eventually she threw arms up in, I think it was March 2017. And she said, we are no longer in the same movement. She said, you are anti-Israel. The way you're going about this is anti-Semitic.
This is Casey.
This is, yeah, Cassie Dillon.
Cassie Dillon.
She goes, you're attacking Shapiro and in an anti-Semitic way. I don't like your tone. She said, and I really want nothing to do with you anymore. And so she blocked me on Twitter. And my whole friend group, who was with Daily Wire, Elliot Hamilton, Aaron Bandler, all these other writers at Daily Wire, they all blocked me. They would not talk to me. And then...
Now, you guys all know each other. You've hung out on your friends.
Yes.
In what context do you guys hang out? Because you're not with Daily Wire.
Right. So we would hang out at... we hung out at the Christmas party for the Massachusetts College Republicans that she hosted. And I did her show.
He's going down the path. Basically, what he's trying to say, and what he's been saying, that anybody that criticizes Israel is being thrown under the bus. He claimed that his bank account and everything was seized. He can't make no money because of his criticism about Israel. Why Israel is getting money from the United States. Why the money is not going to other countries. And he's going down that path, that thinking that because of what he has to say, that's the reason why he's been thrown under the bus. I don't think so. I think the reason why he's been thrown under the bus or whatever situation is going on with this gentleman is the type of the way that he's saying the things that he's saying. You could criticize someone, right? You could have something negative to say about somebody, but once again, it's the way you're criticizing that person. You could just say, yeah, I don't like this person, and leave it like that. But if you're going into a whole dialogue and trying to bring up as much negativity about that individual, when you should just, I don't like that person, I'm going to stay away from this person. But this gentleman and other people like him, they don't just say, okay, what Israel is taking American money and that's not right. No, they're going into a whole detail on why it's not right, why is, Israel is doing this, Israel is doing that. But I just don't think it's necessary to be disrespectful in no way, shape, or form about no religion. Because at the end of the day, Israel is a country is a Jewish state. So you're going down the path of like, okay, America is supporting Jews. America been supporting Jews for years. And this and this and this. But it's the way, I honestly think is the way people say stuff. That's the reason why they get the backlash. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, we could say stuff. We could say, oh, I don't like this person. I don't like what this is going on. But say it in a respectful manner. That, that it will come across and your point will be made. But your point will be made in a respectful manner. But people like him don't say that. They just be like, oh, I'm being hated because I'm talking about Israel. No, you're not being hated because you're talking about Israel. You're being hated because the way that you're talking about an entire country. That's the reason why you get backlash. It's not because of you simply just don't like the way Israel operate. No, it's not. But you don't like the way they operate. It's just the things, the distasteful things that comes out your mouth in regards to Israel. The things that you talk badly and say bad things, and you expect not to get backlash. Yes, people is saying, "Oh, Israel, the Jews has a lot of power in the United States." Once again, the Jews do has a lot of power in the United States, but guess why? The Jewish people, they stick together and they build empires. Name another religion or another group of people that stick together, put their money together to build empires, and now they have a say-so. Name. You can't. The Jewish people, they put their money together, they stick together, they invest into things, and the things that they invest in become mainstream. So now if you invest into something, you put your money into something and it become mainstream, you have say-so in what goes on on that platform. So you can't be mad at Jewish people because they own media companies. Listen, they took the risk and they put their money into media companies, and the media companies became successful. Now they have say-so into who can talk on their platform. Anybody will do that. I don't care what nobody said. If you're a black organization, if you're a Hispanic organization, and you put your money after 30 people in a Hispanic organization or 30 people in a black organization, put their money and built a media company, and you think you're going to have bad things to say about us as a race, and you think we are supposed to put you on our platform? Absolutely not. We're going to block you from any type of publicity on our platform. That's just life. So you're going down the path criticizing Israel and talking bad about Israel and talking bad about the Jewish people, Jewish state, and you expect no backlash. You expect, oh, everything should be fine. Oh, this is... Get out of here, dude. That's not how life works, dude.
He saw it. And she texted him and said, you got to take this guy under your wing. He's unbelievable. He's the next big thing. He's a little Trumpy, she goes, because they hated Trump at that time.
Who was the candidate? I know they were DeSantis 2020, but who were they 2024? But who were they during that time?
In 16, they were for Rubio, Cruz.
Oh, Cruz. Cruz was it back at that time. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So she says you got to go because he's a little bit Trumpy, and then what's his response to her?
He said, I'll take a look at him. I'll take a look.
And she told you that? So she said to you, I told Ben he should, and he said to take a look at you.
She sent me the screenshot, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now this is starting to make sense. So at this point, while you're going through this, you when you put that tweet out, were you directing it towards him or not at all? Was it a general blanket statement?
It was a blanket statement.
So it was nothing like a little bit 10% was towards Ben?
I didn't tag him or anything. I mean,
I know, but were you like saying this is towards him? Because if you're saying, the feeling, when did you first get a feeling that Ben is Israel first?
It was right around the time that I realized there was a lot of Israel first.
So just before December of, what would it be, 16? Is this
It was around that time.
Okay.
Right around that time.
So you're kind of going through this process where you're like, I think Ben is Israel first. I don't know why he's not supporting Trump and he's going more Ted. And maybe Ted would be more pro-Israel. Even we saw the conversation with Ted on what do you call it, Tucker a couple months ago, which I thought it was a great show on both ends. I actually liked watching it. I think it was good for the viewership. So you're talking to her. What is your goal in mind with her? Do you have any goal in mind? Like, do you want her to convert to your way of thinking? Are you trying to kind of tell her, man, listen, you're going to the dark side of where you're going right now? Is that kind of where you're going or not at all?
I was just, at that point, I wasn't even sure that I was right about any of it. I was earnestly asking.
Got it, okay.
And saying why, like when I said, why do we give Israel this much money? At that time, that was not a rhetorical question. Because now it sort of is. When we say, why does Israel get more money? It's sort of rhetorical, begging the question because they have this extraordinary influence. At that time, I was earnestly wondering, is there a reason? Is there a justified, good reason that there is this special relationship between the countries?
Yep.
Because that is what she believed. And, they would give these answers, but I would debate. I would say, well, here's why that doesn't stand up. Here's why that doesn't make sense. And they became frustrated that I wouldn't let that go.
Okay, so Ben retweets a guy's tweet with only 1,000 followers. But he knows about you because Cassie already told him that you should take this guy under your wings and he could be somebody. Is Ben married at the time?
I don't know.
Can you see, was Ben married in December of 2016, right? December 2016? Is Ben married in 2016? Okay, so he's already married. So he's already married. He's got his family. He's doing his thing. This happens. She steps away. You can't believe it. So that relationship is gone. Do you all of a sudden just go, boom, double down on it? On points against Israel? Is that kind of what?
Keep in mind, this gentleman back in 2016 he's 20 right now. In 2025, he's 22, 23 years old. So in 2016, which was what, 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, 2016 to now in 2025, that's 9 years ago. This guy was a teenager, basically, because you do the math, and he's around like 22, 23 years old right now in 2025. So in 2016, when President Trump first won the presidency, this guy was a teenager talking about all of this stuff. And you could tell this guy's a politician from back then. You could just tell, because he even said it himself. He was just saying stuff that he didn't even know if it was true or false. He was just saying it just to say it. That's the thing about those type of politics debates, that a lot of people, like, these guys just say stuff. They don't have no facts behind what they're saying. They're just, let me just say it to get it out, because I don't like this people, or I don't like this, let me just say basically whatever I feel in my heart, hatred or not, I don't care. Every one of the presidents from since I've been alive always been aligned with Israel. I don't get into politics, but for what I could see from the outside, every United States president from since I was a baby, from since I was little to now, the United States always been aligned with Israel. Under the Democratic Party, under the Republican Party, the United States always been aligned with Israel. And I always made the assumption, the reason for that had to be because Israel is in a part of the world where is basically majority Muslim countries that surround Israel. So that's just my assumption. I always been under the assumption that the United States always kept a close relationship with Israel, because in the part of the world that they're actually, the countries is in that part of the world, is majority of the countries that surround Israel is Muslim countries. And as a country that's basically a Jewish state, it's known as a Jewish state, Jewish people, Israel. To be living around so many different Muslim countries, I always thought that's the reason why the United States always kept a very close relationship with Israel, that they support Israel, because there is so many other countries in that region, in the Middle East, that don't like Jews. It's always some form of religious war and religious violence in that part of the world. So and that's just my assumption. That's just what I always believed in. Because every of the United States presidents, from since I was little to now, Democrat presidents and Republican presidents, they always been aligned with Israel. So I don't know why he's saying that, why America is supporting. America been supporting Israel for decades, for as long as I can remember. So I don't know what all of a sudden is the controversy of why America is. I don't know. But people like that, once again, love stirring up the pot to make something out of nothing. Bottom line.
She may have done that, but you know that the other person that called you saying, for the last 2 weeks, you know that for a fact.
Yes.
That's firsthand.
Absolutely.
Okay, fair enough. So So this happens, this comes back to you. This time around, are you going, if you went from 0 to 20, are you going 20 to 80 or are you going 20 to 50 now?
I would say I was going 20 to 50 at that point.
So what's the next move you're making when you start hearing this?
Well, when this stuff started to happen, I actually was almost going to get fired. They almost fired me for that hit piece.
From the from
RSBN.
Okay, got it.
And the funny thing is, I didn't even want to do the show at that time. I was looking for an off-ramp. I didn't want to do the show. I wanted to kind of move on because I didn't get a lot of viewership. But at that point, they were trying to knock me out. So it made me want to stay in the game.
This guy that called you, Nick, who was your boss, the RSBN guy, is he a good guy in your eyes?
He's a good guy.
So you have a relationship with him till today, or you guys don't talk, but you're saying he's a good guy?
I haven't talked to him, but he's a good guy.
But he's a good guy. Okay, so this is not a bad guy. This is a level-headed guy. Okay. So now you're sitting there, they're thinking about getting rid of you. You're not getting a lot of eyeballs with their show, the platform that they have. It's not performing as well as you think it was. What happens next?
So they take the show off the air around May 2017. Then they say, well, our fans, they have like a very small, loyal group of followers on their YouTube channel. They said the fans are demanding we bring your show back. They said, we'll make it work for you. You could do it 3 days a week instead of 5, etc. I said, all right. I said, I'll come back. So I did a show in May 29th. That was my comeback show. What happens later, the next kind of big shoe to drop, a lot of people would think it's Charlottesville, because I did wind up in Charlottesville in August of 17, later that in the summer.
Yep.
But what a lot of people don't know is that there was a lot of stuff that happened before then, which is that I go to the Leadership Institute for a job training. Leadership Institute, I don't know if you're familiar.
No, I'm not.
So they're a think tank in D.C.
Conservative or not?
Very conservative.
Okay.
For Morton Blackwell's a founder, and they create all these conservative activists that go on campus, and they create campus organizations. So many Leadership Institute people will get training from that group, and then they go and start a college Republican chapter, a Turning Point chapter.
So who would be a comparable of a Leadership Institute to today? Would TPUSA be a competitor of theirs, or no? They're more
they
like
work together.
Hillsdale. Are they?
They're very similar to Turning Point.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you're going there, and alumni includes folks like James O'Keefe, Mike Pence, Mitch McConnell. It's okay. Conservatives that gone to James O'Keefe. So it's not like it's just people that are maybe some would call rhinos. James O'Keefe is somebody he's pushed against the envelope many times. So you're there, you're thinking about going to that place. What happens next?
So I go there for a job training, and I'm thinking about dropping out of college and working for...
I want to speed up the video, man, where he's talking about like the reason he uses the N-word. This is also part of the interview. So I want to speed it up a little bit, where Patrick Bet-David is trying to get him to say, like, why do you say those? Why do you say that word? You know, like, what make you think it's right for you to talk like that?
To me, I guess it was a change in perspective, kind of realizing everybody asks the same question: how will I be remembered? You know, when we get unexpectedly killed, or when we die, or when bad things happen, and it's a challenge to kind of live every day thinking, could today be the day? You know, and what did I do on my final day? How did I act? Did I tell the truth? Was I courageous? Was I kind?
That's something that I will never want to do in life. You see exactly what he said. And that part of the interview, Patrick Bet-David was just curious to know, like, what do this guy think is his next step in life? Like, and he's already contemplating on somebody possibly taking him out. You know, like, bro, you don't never think about stuff like that at all in life, because what you think is what's going to become your reality. What you speak about is what's going to become your reality in life. And that's 100% fact. The things that we think about and speak about on a daily basis, that's what become a reality. So never wish death upon yourself. Never speak death into fruition. Never do it. In the back of your mind, don't ever think about somebody taking you out because of what you're saying or what you're doing. If you know that you're involved in things of the way you talk, if you know that the way you talk is causing a lot of problems, bringing you a lot of problems as an individual, the best thing you can do to go to sleep at night stress-free, tape it down. Bring it down, cut it off, because it's not worth living your life always being paranoid and always being scared who is coming after you. based on what you're saying, and especially what just happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, guys like him, as I say from earlier, he has to be careful, because a lot of things that he say, a lot of things that comes out this gentleman's mouth, he's not your average politician. He's a young guy who is stirring up the pot, stirring up the politics, stirring things up in politics, and it could go good or bad in situations like that. You know, it always comes down to, okay, what possibly could happen? But it's not worth living life like that every day, dude. Always having to worry about, you know, like, bro, somebody's going to take me out because of my words. And like, what could, like, you just heard what he said. Like, I just want to know what could be my last word. What, bro, you don't think like that, dude.
The greatest country in the world. I'm going to do my part. My life has changed because of God, Jesus, America. I am the luckiest human being alive. That is my feeling, the vibe that I have, right? But when you hear the words, we got to lower the temperature, what's the first thing you think about?
I think it's kind of just a wrong perspective on it, because, you know, I'm an intense person, and I think that this is a decisive moment for America. And, you know, what really made me beside myself is not necessarily that someone killed Kirk, because there's a lot of crazy people out here that unfortunately do carry out acts of violence. It was that there were like 100,000 liberals who are in their right mind that were celebrating, that were glib about it, that crashed vigils, that danced, that laughed, that mocked it, that said it was a good thing, he deserved it. And you realize that it is a battle between good and evil. And I don't believe that when you're fighting evil, you lower the intensity. I think that we must very intensely fight evil because we have to win. If we lose, and by we, I mean decent people, they're going to hurt us, and they're going to destroy the things that we care about. So for me, it's not necessarily about intensity. Temperature, I would say intensity. I think we should all fight for what we believe in intensely every day. I would change it and say it's really a question of love and hate. It was a hateful action to kill Charlie Kirk. It's a hateful action to celebrate. I think that we should be intense, but we should also move in love. And what that means is, I said this on my show, people kill each other with bullets and literally murder each other and take their lives. We also kill each other by destroying each other's reputations. When we lie about somebody, when we gossip about somebody, when you go and actually do the examen of conscience at confession at a Catholic church, and you go through all the different sins, and you say, because you have to contemplate, you have to confess everything, every mortal sin, you have to confess all of it. So first you examine it systematically. Have I done this? Have I done that? And one of the violations of the commandment, thou shalt not kill, is gossip, detraction. It's attacking somebody with a lie. Because that's a form of killing somebody, in a certain sense. It's a form of damning somebody. And so, I wouldn't say we need to lower the intensity, but we should always move in love. And by that, I don't mean some kind of like new age and a move in love, very vague and not specific. But I mean, we should want what's good for everybody. We should will the good for us, and also even for our enemies too, and for the whole country. And so that's why I said, my first reaction when I did my show, a lot of people said, well, we now got to go and kill two of theirs. They killed one of ours. Now,
that's a very, very true statement. We have, as a country, as a nation, we have to move forward in love. And I always do. I think like that all the time. You know, like, because words are very powerful. You know, the things that you're saying on a daily basis to others is very powerful. You know, so if you're going down the path of saying hateful things, saying things that make people less about themselves, and that whole separation, that whole divide between the right and the left, if we continue as a nation going down that path, it's going to be a lot of more unfortunate people losing their lives. As he said, we should go forward with love. And the only how that could take place for the United States to go forward with love is by people have to want what's best for each other. And people have to understand and realize whenever they speak, their words are powerful. Yes, it's free speech. But if you know what you're saying, what's coming out your mouth has the potential to hurt other people's feelings, if you know what you're speaking about has the potential to make people feel less about themselves, you should reconsider. You should reconsider exactly what's going to come out your mouth. Because there is different ways that you could say things. As I said earlier, there is different ways you could say things that possibly will hurt someone's feelings, but not that to the fact that, you know what, they want to hurt you, they want to harm you because of what you say. I don't know if you understand what you guys understand what I'm trying to say. There is ways we could talk to each other that we don't have to agree. As human beings, we could debate each other, we could criticize each other, but is the way that we are criticizing each other, is the words that we are using to criticize each other, that's what brings the violence. People don't understand that. People think, oh, we're debating, this is a free country, I say exactly how I feel, you say exactly how you feel. But guess what? You saying exactly how you feel and I'm saying exactly how I feel, you don't think that's going to create violence? And the violence doesn't have to come from between me and you who's having this debate. The violence will have to come from other people who's watching the debate. That's what people like that don't understand. You understand? It's simple ways that we could learn to go forward after what happened, unfortunately, to Charlie Kirk. Because the debates, if you guys look at the debates Charlie Kirk was having with different people, some of those debates got very heated. No violence was exchanged in those debates, but the people that was watching those debates, if the guys that's doing the debate is getting hot, imagine the people that's watching the debate that's on opposite sides. They are getting extremely hot. You know, so going forward, we should go forward with the whole notion, knowing that, you know what, yes, we could have debates. I don't have to agree with what you're saying. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but we could have debate in a respectful manner. We could have debate. After this debate, nobody want to take my head off. You know, that's the type of movement we should be doing as a nation. We should absolutely listen. We don't never have to agree with each other every day. Life is boring like that. If you agree with everything I'm saying and I have to agree with everything you're saying, life gets very boring after a while. We have to debate each other. We have to, you know, I have to think one way, you think in one way, and let's have a discussion about it. But once again, let the discussion be in a respectful manner that everybody that's watching the discussion could be like, okay, you know what? This was good. Nobody got too hot. Nobody got angry. You know, that's how I think as a society, as a country, we should move forward. Having debates, having disagreements, but let's do it in a respectful way that every one of us is liked and loved after the debate. Nobody in the debate or who's watching debates is wishing harm on nobody. Nobody's wishing harm on nobody in general. You know what I mean? Let's debate in a love and a respectful way, dude.
So, you know, to the extent that it's a reminder of our mortality, I always try every day to keep it truthful, and to make sure that it's coming from the right place. I don't think we should be emotional. I don't think anger, and I agree with you, the chart that you showed, we shouldn't want to be angry. We should want to be prudent. We should want to be thoughtful, and we should want to act out of rationality as opposed to emotion. And so, to the extent that Charlie Kirk died, how it affected me, I'm going to try harder to move in that way. But I think I've been tending in that direction for a long time.
Did he inspire you? Was there anything about him that inspired you?
Yes. The one thing that he inspired me about, because I did not like him when he was alive, I'll be honest with you. The one thing that inspired me is this guy was a workhorse. And I respect that, because I have a hard time with discipline. I'm not the most disciplined person when it comes to hard work. And this guy was a beast. I mean, the stuff that he did, working morning to night, you got to think he did a 3-hour show every day, wrote books. Then he went home and managed Turning Point. Then he went and flew out and did 100 campus events. That's just like him and Trump. They have that Protestant work ethic. And I know you're a capitalist, you're a businessman. There's nothing I respect more than people that build, people that work hard. That's noble. That's good. That's a virtue. So that was very inspirational to me.
I want 3 more hours with these. I got so many questions. I'm getting so in. What do you think about Thomas Russo? Is there any thoughts you have of Thomas Russo?
Yeah, I actually watched your show.
What do you think about him?
You know, I think he's very disciplined also. Very composed, very disciplined. But I just don't like that type of activism. I don't know how productive that is.
What did you disagree with him on?
You know, he is a ideological racialist. And I believe that goes too far. I'm a Catholic. I don't know what his religious views are. I think there's a tendency from some white nationalists to idolize race. They believe that race is the highest virtue. As a Catholic, I do believe there's a universal community of human beings, that we are all human in a fundamental way. And although I do believe that race is real, I also think we're all
100%. I'm a Catholic as well. We're all the same. No matter what's the color for our skin, no matter the religion, I'm the same way. I think the same way. I've been thinking like that since I was little. We're all God kids, bro.
getting people's faces, but it is intended to provoke. It is intended to be transgressive, and I don't know how much I like that.
He was also interesting to get to know, and he was very good in the way he communicated. His style is very different than yours. He's very, the way he speaks is more here. You're more animated. You have a very smooth style of delivering your message, but I actually wanted to know this guy to see what drove him.
A trusted strategic partner already by your side.
This guy's, it's for the fact that he's a Catholic, and he has good things to say as well, but a lot of things that he says, like, to me, I just don't think it's necessary, as using the N-word and stuff like that. Like, I don't think it's necessary to use the N-word, and it doesn't matter about because he's Caucasian. You don't need to create that type of negative attention for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to create negativity going forward in life. If you want to be a politician, but just always know, as a Catholic, we believe in loving everybody. We're all God kids. Every Catholic is like that. We're all God kids. We respect each other. If whatever you choose to do with your life, God bless you. We don't criticize each other. We're all family. I'm not going to criticize you because you decide to live your life this certain way. If you're not bothering me, you're not hurting nobody, you're just doing things in your own life. As a Catholic, we're brought up to be very respectful and very kind, be courteous to each other. So this guy, I think he has that in him because he's a proud Catholic. But at the same time, he should know, like, don't get into the whole thing of building controversy in a negative way. It's not worth it. Let's build controversy, but build it for positivity. Don't go down that whole saying the N-word to stir up problems. It's not worth it, dude.
Rica or something. You go to New York, LA, it doesn't feel like what America used to be, what America is distinctly. And that's what I have a problem with, that pretty soon everywhere it's going to be so diverse, linguistically, ethnically, religiously, that you can't even say America is anything. Like the mayor of Minneapolis, he's doing advertisements in Somalian. What is that?
Yeah, they had a cop. The cop badge is now in Arabic. I don't know if you saw that. Or
yes.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think that's horrible.
What do you think about between the two communities, Muslim and Jews? Which one concerns you more?
Jews, for sure.
Tell me why.
More powerful. They're more powerful.
So more powerful in a way, you're talking the fact that they have money, finance, Hollywood. Is that what you're?
Yeah, they have more position in American society.
And how do you?
But at the same time, the Jews built that power. The Jews wasn't given the power that he's talking. He's referring to the Jews has a lot of power in the United States. But what people like that is not saying, the Jewish people, they build that power. They didn't just get that power from different part of our government. The presidency didn't just give the Jews the power of Hollywood or the power of the media. No, they built media companies. They put money together and built media companies to make themselves powerful, to make their word matters. That's what people is not talking about. Jewish people, they put their money together, they invest into things, they invest together and build things that become successful. If you build a movie studio and your movie studio, your movie production company becomes successful, guess what? Now you have the power to say whoever could work with your company. If you build a media company and you have the power, now your media company becomes successful. Now you have the power to say and whoever you want to be a part of your media company. That's the power Jews have, but guess what? They earned it. They build the power in the United States. We all could build our power in the United States. Don't look at the people that's on top and say, oh, I can't do it because they have all the power, they have all the money, they have all the control. No, we all can do it in the United States. They have the power because they did it together. Jewish people work together to accomplish a common goal. Black people don't do that. Hispanic people don't do that. Asian people don't do it. Like, Jewish people work together. That's a religion of people work together to accomplish the goals. Tell me a group of Catholics that are building stuff, building media companies. I'm not saying there's not power. Catholics are very powerful. There's a lot of powerful Catholics in the United States. Our president, Mr. Donald J. Trump, he's one of the most powerful people in the United States, and he's a Catholic. You know, so Catholic to accomplish things. That's what nobody's saying.
I think Scientologists have it maybe more than Jews. So I think Jews will bite each other a little bit, not as much. And then Mormons have each other's back. Of course, there's a falling out as well where people come out and they'll talk about God makers or, what Gordon B. Hinckley, and I've read all of that stuff from over the years. But what's wrong with them winning at the highest level?
Well, I agree with you that it is remarkable, and it is actually ominous how much they've achieved. Here's the problem, though. America's an open society. The premise of this country is it's self-government, of, by, for the people. There's a egalitarian idea that we are all citizens, and our government is going to be comprised of the citizenry of America. That's deeply embedded in who we are and in our government and our whole system. And just take me, for example. I'm Italian, Mexican, and Irish. The Italians were very much like this when they immigrated to America. They had in Chicago what they called the outfit, which was the mafia, and they looked out for each other. And when my grandfather died on my mom's side, I believe my grandmother got a loan from the outfit. And they would come by every month or whatever, and they bring a fruit basket, and they look after her, and they provided financially.
Spilatra's group. Do you know the history of it, or was it Tony Spilatra?
I don't know who it was specifically.
Okay.
But so, these are some of the stories I would hear growing up from my mom and my grandmother.
So think about, at that time, how many people were against Italians?
Build a website you love with Wix.
Italians in New York, because Bank of America was first called Bank of Italy. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
So can you pull up, Rob, was Bank of America first Bank of Italy? If I'm wrong, it is what it is. I think Bank of America was originally Bank of Italy, and everybody used to, yes, the Bank of America was originally founded in Bank of Italy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He's 100% right about that. It used to be known as an Italian bank.
I think eventually merged with another institution to form Bank of America and changed its name to Bank of America, right? The tellers were Italian. They would give small little loans, $10, $4, $5 to them. And some people were not supportive of that. They're like, what are Italian immigrants doing here? You guys are becoming too much power in New York. We're not happy about this. So there was some of that going on 100 years ago.
And that's what I'm saying is that did exist. And then what happened eventually is that Italians assimilated. Eventually these groups, these ethnic advocacy groups were broken up, if you could call the outfit that, or the mob in New York. And then Italians assimilated. And when I grew up, I saw myself as American. I didn't see myself as Italian American. I just saw myself as American. And I think that, when you see Jewish people working together, I don't think there's anything wrong with that inherently. And I agree with you. It's like a superpower. It's actually admirable in some ways. They look out for each other. But if society becomes, American society in particular, a place where every group is ganging up, well, we're the whites, we're the blacks, we're the Jews, we're the then I think what America is starts to come apart, and it turns into kind of like a bit of a politicized race war. And I think that...
But he just said in the interview earlier that integrating the United States is not a good thing. That's what he just said. But look what he just said something completely opposite now. Earlier within the interview, he said integrating the United States to him is a bad idea. Like, he thinks that whites should be married whites and stick with whites, and blacks should stick with black, Spanish. This is the words that he said. Integrating within the United States to him, it's a bad idea. So now he's saying that because the Jews have so much power, they work together. If every religion would decide to work together, so be it. We in the United States, I respect Jewish people for the simple fact is they built their wealth together. They stick together. They work together and build wealth for them and their families. You can't knock that from people. You can't. You can't knock that from a religion of people that decided to put money together to build media companies, and you can't knock that. They built their power. Jewish people has a lot of influence in the United States. Yes, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of power, but guess what? They built it from the ground up. We all could do it. I said earlier in this video, the reason why white blacks and Hispanics don't do that. Why, if you have 30 family members that get along, why everybody, 30 people, don't work together to build a building? 30 people who gets along in a family decided to put their money together. That's how you start building wealth. The Jewish people are masters at that. Let's look and take lessons from them to make our communities better, to make our neighborhoods better. You know, like, but no, people want to sit back and criticize them because they have power, they have influence, but they earned it.
Is it the girl? Do you understand what point I'm trying to make here? So to me, it's kind of like, I mean, look, if you said Israel over Muslims, right? Which of the two do you think has been a bigger net positive to America?
Oh, it has to be Israel, absolutely.
Okay, so a part about that part.
But, well, in terms of, I wouldn't say net positive. I would say in terms of raw, maybe like gross positive. Because they've had a lot of contributions, culturally and even, you know, in terms of art, literature, music, also scientifically. But it's difficult to say on that because I also think that there's quite a bit of a detriment. I think that the melting pot comes from the Jewish community. The idea of the melting pot, that comes from a Jewish playwright. You know, because Jewish people come to America, and like all immigrants, they say, well, we want America to be more welcoming. So they start to spin up these ideas that, well, America was never this country of white Christians. It's always been a melting pot for all immigrants. They want the country to be more open because that makes it more comfortable for them. It makes it more tolerant for them. But this has also made us more open and tolerant for Muslims, for example.
The United States always been a country that's welcome everybody, every religion, every race. The United States has been like that for centuries, that welcome people, you know, to have a good life within the United States. You know, so it's not just the Jews that immigrate to America, the Italians, bro, it's all different type of nationalities.
Actors like the SPLC, which is run by Jewish lawyers. And so they're major drivers of mass migration. They're also major drivers of the pro-Israel politics, like the Iraq War. There was many Jewish journalists and pundits and advocates.
Sure.
So a point being is like when you calculate on net, and I agree with you, like I think there are a lot of people that are critical of Israel that are reluctant to acknowledge the good that Jews do. And I think that Jews they're brilliant. Many of them are brilliant.
So what I'm saying, net positive, I'm talking jobs, economy. How often you hear about crime, what they do. Like if you have a choice between living in a city in Minnesota, Dearborn, and living in, I don't know what's the biggest city. What's the city that, Boca Raton, let's just say, right? If you have a choice between raising your family, between Dearborn and Boca Raton, what do you choose?
Boca Raton.
Okay, so the point is like, they go to a place, and by the way, to me, if that was Muslim, guess what? I would say Muslims. Mm-hmm. But
and for the people out there that don't know, Boca Raton, part of Florida, that's mainly populated by the Jewish communities. Mainly, the religion in that part of Florida is mainly Jews, and it's a very wealthy part of Florida. There is very low crime. It's a destination, if you ask me. It's someplace that everybody in the right state of mind will love to be and settle with their family. That's what Jewish people contribute to the United States.
Armenians would do that. I've never gotten an invitation from Prime Minister of Armenia. He should probably send me an invite to go there, right? It's not a bad idea to come and show the country. I'm Armenian, I'm a Syrian. Syrians don't have a country, it's probably a good idea. You don't see that. You wish others would do that. So for me, as much as when I go into that, By the way, I'll give you one other side that, Israel's going to be like, yeah. This other side to me is I actually do believe they leverage Mossad to get intel. I actually do believe they use blackmail. I actually do believe they do that. So, there's nothing going on with Epstein. No. Michael Wolff did a podcast with them 2 months ago. And when he was at Epstein's house, the 100 hours of recording that he has with them, I said, how many times was Ehud Barak there? Am I saying his name correctly? Barak.
Ehud Barak.
He said he was there many times. He saw Bill Gates there many times. Why would the former prime minister visit the guy 30-something times? Just because the conversation's great? That's a little bit suspect, right? So to me, I'll go there, but I'll go the other end. So what I'm trying to do, like if you're wondering what my role is here, okay? My role is I want to continue talking to you. I want us to do many of these together as we go through whatever journey we go through the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And I'd like you to be around 60 years from now to see whatever you want to do. And let's see what your ideas are going to line up, what they're going to go through. I'm sure as we all age, some of them get better, some of them get sharper. Maybe this used to be number 1 to us at 26. Maybe it's going to be number 6 when we're 46. Maybe this used to be number 11 when we're 26. Now it's number 2 when we're 52. Who knows? Life changes. You evolve, right? You're just watching Trump in the last 10 years change. He's not the same. Just the way he does his speaking. I was watching him speak yesterday. The way he's doing press conference. A very different guy on where he's at. And it's not like he's tired and he's not working. You said him and Charlie Kirk, Protestant, workers thing that they have. It's not that. I just see his going through it himself. I would like people on both sides to not be like, oh my God, he just sat Nick Fuentes on, that's it. No, you don't control me. I want to talk to you. Oh my God, he brought Cuomo and he did this. Dude, Cuomo, we orchestrated a conversation with him and Dave Smith. It was great. And we had Chris Cuomo and Candace speak. It was great. They gave their arguments. And Chris said some things about, people don't need IDs to vote. I don't agree with that. But guess what? At least we had the conversation, right? I'll sit with Wiener. I'll sit with you. I'll sit with, let me tell you, I got a lot of death threats after having BB on the comment. And I had 3 outcomes with BB, right? To me, it was very simple what I wanted to get. I wish I had 2 hours with the guy. But it was a short time. But
and we're going to end this right there. And that's honestly, that's what I really like about Patrick Bet-David. He gives everybody a chance on his platform. And I think that's what we should be as all God kids. We shouldn't judge people based on the things that they actually talk about. We should actually come together and try to figure it out. Like, listen, there's a lot of people that don't like you because of the things that you discuss, the things that you speak about, the things that, the way you speak to people. We should come together and have this discussion instead of trying to isolate people. We don't want to talk to you. We don't want to be around you based on your knowledge, based on the things that you're talking about, based on the things that you're, like the way you're referring to people. Let's all have this conversation. Let's talk because it's necessary. It's very necessary. For the simple fact is that's the only how we could grow. But when we isolate people, there is no growth. We need to disagree. Agreeing with each other every single day is boring. It's a boring life. It's a boring country. So it's a boring way to live. We need to disagree. We need to have this type of discussion. Okay, you think about this way. The things that you're thinking about is this way. I'm thinking about the same thing, but in an opposite way. Let's have this discussion. Let's figure it out. But my whole thing is let's figure it out in a respectful manner. That nobody, at the end of the discussion, nobody who is not even a part of the discussion is going to be watching the discussion, is going to want to take my head off because they didn't like the way I came across. They didn't like the way they didn't like the way I spoke to you. Like, no, let's have discussion, but let's have discussion in a more respectful manner. This gentleman, Nick, the only thing, as I say, I don't like about the one thing I really, it's a couple of things I don't like about him, but my main thing is the whole fact that he thinks saying the N-word, it's cool. That's not cool. Not just because he's a Caucasian, it's just the way he says it as a joke. That word should not be used as a joke. And we all know that as human beings, as United States, we all know that. That word should not be used in any way, shape, or form as a joke. That's something I don't like about Nick. Another thing that I don't like about Nick, that's, to me, the integrations of people within the United States, that he hates that. And I think, honestly, remember I said that today, he's going to run in politics with that ideologically. The whole idea about the United States being integrated with different race and stuff together, living amongst each other, to him, that's bad. But we need that in society. And I'm talking about in every society all around the world. Because we need to stop looking at each other as race. We need to stop that whole race stuff. We need to stop, because if we continue going down that path of looking at each other based on the color of our skin, we're going to always have problems. We are trying as a nation, as a country, to eliminate the racism. So the only how to eliminate racism, we have to integrate. We have to live around each other. We have to come together to figure this out. Yes, you look at the media and you see the violence in black communities is at an all-time high. Absolutely. Why is that? Let's figure it out together. Why in the black and Hispanic community the violence is at an all-time high? But in Caucasian, in Asian neighborhoods, in Asian community, in Caucasian neighborhoods, the violence is at an all-time low. Why is that? Let's figure it out together. Let's have the debate about why these things are occurring. Why in the black and Hispanic neighborhood there is so much violence. Let's figure it out together. But the whole thing about Nick, he thinks that, because I'm Caucasian, I should be married to a Caucasian woman. You can't base life-changing decision on colors of the people's skin. You can't base decision making about family generations on the color of someone's skin. It's just the color of your skin. It's not who you are inside. Make your judgment and make your decision about people based on what's inside of them. Let them show you they're a scumbag. Let them show you they're too violent for you to be. Then you make your choice. That's how I live. I respect people. I respect everybody as God kids. We're all family. I give people the utmost respect from the first day I meet them to forever. If you don't show me that you're a piece of shit or you're a dirtbag or you're a scum, I will respect you. You respect me as a human being, I will always respect you as a human being. But if you try to disrespect me and you try to cut me off in any way, shape, or form violently, I have no choice. That's how I operate. I give everybody the utmost respect, and I think we should all live life like that. We should all come together and give each other the utmost respect the first time we meet each other. We shouldn't just immediately go out and be like, okay, this person, they're dark skinned. I don't really trust dark skinned people. What? Because one dark skinned person did something to you that you don't like, so all of a sudden now I just met you, but I'm in that category of because of the color of my skin. We should stop that. We should stop that, dude. I think we should. Integration in all around the world will make this world better. It will make it better, dude. But that's my opinion, But that's something I don't really like about Nick. But there's other things too. But God bless him, man. And he's my brother. He's God's kids, and that's my brother. Regardless of certain things he say, I don't really like, but it's okay. We could disagree. We could disagree all day on certain topics, but I will always ask God to bless him and watch over him. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, nobody in this world deserves to be hurt because of what comes out their mouth. If somebody didn't physically put their hands on you, if somebody didn't physically do something to hurt you or your family, you should not be thinking about, you should not be contemplating hurting them because of what they're talking about. Instead of that, you should try to understand that person. Or if you can't understand the reason they're saying what they're saying, tune them out. Tune them out, because it's not worth you living a life filled with stress because of what someone else have to say, regardless if you like it or don't like it. Charlie Kirk did not deserve to die based on the words that's coming out his mouth. He did not. Nobody does. Regardless if you like somebody or not, they never did nothing to you violently. They're saying things that you don't like, might hurt your feelings, but they didn't do something to you violently. That's why I said that hopefully Charlie Kirk's death could bring us to a better space going forward in life, because those debates is necessary. Having debates with people is necessary. We are not supposed to always agree. So having debates is necessary. It's a very necessary thing. It's a very necessary thing to have in life. So life don't be boring. Have a debate. You and somebody have opposite ideas about something, opposite answers about one thing, about a specific thing. Debate why you think you're right and why you think I'm wrong. Have a discussion about it. But going forward, after what happened to Charlie Kirk, we should have debates in more respectful format, where we could disagree, yes, but let's do it in a respectful format, that at the end of the debate is not just because when you're debating people about touchy subject, about religion, about politics, about people sexual, the way people choose to live their life, as you know, I'm talking about like transgenders, like when you're having debates about things like that, it gets very, very hot very fast. Debates are necessary. Having a debate is necessary, but we need to have debates in a more respectful format, that everybody at the end of the debate, regardless if you get your feelings hurt just a little bit, but it's not that serious where you feel like you want to do something violent to me. It shouldn't have the audience, the people that's listening to your debate, contemplating after you have a debate for an hour, 2 hours with a group of people. The audience that's watching that debate, after the debate, the audience shouldn't be contemplating, oh my God, I can't wait till I see that person. I want to rip their balls off. I want to rip their face off. Nah, it's because when you're having discussion like that get that heated, that get that hot, that everybody's just mad, you and the person that having the debate is just not you two that's mad. The audience. Now you have the audience picking sides. Now you have people that's watching this debate. It's like, oh my God, I wish I was there. You know, I can't wait to see this person. No, dude. Let's be more respectful to each other's feelings. Let's be more respectful to each other's way of life. It's simple and plain, dude. We can't go down the path of hating people based on the religion, based on the sexual preference, based on how they choose to live their life, based on the color of the skin. We can't. If somebody Hispanic did something to you 10 years ago, so now all of a sudden you don't like Hispanic people, you can't go down that path. You can't. You just can't. All Spanish people are not bad. All black people are not bad. All Asian people are not bad. All Caucasians are not bad. But trust me, there is good and bad throughout this world. I don't care what the color of your skin is. There is good and bad in every chapter in this goddamn world. In every religion, in every race of people, there is good and bad. There is great Jewish people, but there's also terrible people that's Jewish as well. There is great Catholic people. Our president, Mr. Trump, is a great Catholic. You could say whatever you want to say. This man just came in office and he already put a stop to several wars all around the world. And he's doing the best he can. He's losing sleep over the Ukraine-Russia war because he came into office knowing that him and Mr. Vladimir Putin had a good friendship. So he thought, based on their friendship, that was something that he could solve really fast. But unfortunately, he's still working on it. But back to what I'm trying to say, Mr. Trump is a great Catholic. You know, but you will find Catholics in this world that's dirtbags. In every race, in every religion, there is good and bad in this world. So we can't just go out being like, okay, because this one person that's Catholic did something bad to me, so now I have to be mad at everybody that's Catholic. No, dude. One Christian did something to me 10 years ago. Now I'm mad at all Christians. Bro, stop it. We can't go down that path. So that's why I think integration amongst people together, bro, I think that's a great idea. You know, but thanks to PBD, man, to Mr. Patrick Bet David. I really appreciate the content. You know, guys, you could go look at this entire video on the PBD podcast. Patrick Bet David podcast. podcast. You could check that entire interview out. It's brand new. It's over an hour, 40 something minutes long, but it's worth the time. It was very, very, I watched the whole thing. You know, it was very entertaining. And this Nick guy is the first time I ever seen him, but I hope and wish him all the best. And ladies and gentlemen, if you do hate Nick or love Nick, once again, don't go down the path wishing bad upon Nick. Pray for Nick, and hopefully his point of views could change for the better. I hope and wish him a long, long life. You know, I hope and wish him all the success in politics. At 12 years old, he was already trying to be a politician, so I hope and wish him all the best running for office, because eventually that's where he's going to go down. He's going to start running for office soon. I wish him the best from now on forever. God bless him, and that's God kids, so let's all wish him all the best going from now on forever. Yes, guys, before I end this video, I always like taking the time out to show our sitting president, our commander-in-chief, Mr. Donald J. Trump, our president of the United States. I always like to take the time to show my respect and my gratitude by saying, I salute to you and your family, sir. May God bless you and your families. That's to our president, Mr. Donald J. Trump. May God watch over you and your family, so on your trips within the United States and on trips outside the United States. To every and all God kids within the United States, may God bless us all. To every and all God kids around the world, may God bless you guys all as well. Ladies and gentlemen, always do your best to treat people the way you want to be treated, with the love, the care, the kindness, the loyalty, and the respect that you expect others to treat you with every single day. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Always do what's right in the eyes of God and his family. Always make God and his family a part of your decision making every single day. Let's love each other. Let's do what's right for each other, guys, and let's work together to build a better community, to build a better neighborhood, to build a better country. Let's do it together. God bless everyone out there, guys. Have a good night if you're in the Northeast. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon, wherever you're at in the country, man, wherever you're at in the world. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to the stream. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to watch. Thank you so very much. I'm very, very grateful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys very much for the time. I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Please stay safe, and always, let's do it together.